Hello everyone, my name is Salima Mehrali and I'm an associate professor at the Faculty of Nursing, University of Alberta, and I'm delighted to be here with you. Today I will be discussing about women and epilepsy, hormones, reproductive health and lifespan. This is an important topic because epilepsy affects women in unique ways across different stages of life. Epilepsy affects individually differently, and women often experience unique challenges across the lifespan. From puberty to pregnancy and menopause, hormonal and reproductive factors can influence seizure patterns, overall well being, mental health, and experiences of stigma and quality of life. First, I would like to start with land acknowledgement. The University of Alberta acknowledges that we are located on Treaty 6, 7, and 8 territory and respects the histories, languages, and cultures of First Nations, Métis, Inuit, and all First Peoples of Canada whose presence continue to enrich our vibrant community. This is my short bio. As I already mentioned, I'm an associate professor in the Faculty of Nursing, University of Alberta, and my research focuses on migration, global maternal, child, and adolescent health. As a principal investigator, I lead community-based participatory action research projects that engage adolescents and youth in sexual and reproductive health rights and decision-making. So at the end of this session, participants will be able to describe the relationship between hormonal fluctuations and seizure patterns, including catamenial epilepsy, identify contraceptive options, and explain their potential interaction with anti-seizure medication. We'll also discuss some key consideration for preconception counseling, pregnancy planning, and medication management in women with epilepsy. Identify important postpartum and breastfeeding consideration for individuals with epilepsy. We'll discuss some potential effects of menopause on seizure frequency and symptom patterns. We'll understand the impact of mental health, stigma, and quality of life on women and people of childbearing living with epilepsy. And lastly, learn practical guidance for healthcare providers supporting women and people of childbearing living with epilepsy. So let's first learn about what is epilepsy. Epilepsy is a chronic non-communicable disease of the brain. It is defined by recurrent seizures, which are sudden episodes of abnormal electrical activity in the brain. These seizures can cause involuntary movements, which may involve only some part of the body, which are known as partial seizures, or the entire body, which are called generalized seizures. In some cases, seizures can also be accompanied by loss of consciousness and a temporary loss of control over bladder or bowel function. For women, hormones they play a significant role in brain activity and seizure patterns. So, fluctuations in female hormones can change the excitability of the brain and alter the threshold for seizures, making some periods of life more vulnerable than others. There are specific times when hormonal changes are particularly important, like, for example, during menstrual periods, when hormone levels naturally rise and fall, during pregnancy, when hormonal shifts are dramatic and continuous, and throughout the menopause, when the natural decline in estrogen and progesterone can affect seizure patterns and overall neurological stability. So, understanding these hormonal influences is critical because it helps healthcare providers anticipate changes in seizure patterns and provide better and more individualized care for women living with epilepsy. When we consider how hormones affect seizures in women, the main hormones to focus are estrogen and progesterone, as well as their derivatives called neurosteroids. For example, estrogen acts as pro-convulsant. It increases neural excitability in the brain, which effectively lowers the seizure threshold. This means that when estrogen levels are higher, neurons are more likely to fire abnormally, increasing the risk of seizures. For example, many women report more frequent seizures just before or during menstruation, when estrogen peaks relative to progesterone. On the other hand, progesterone has anticonvulsant properties. It works by enhancing GABAergic inhibition, which is the brain's natural braking system. For neural activity, by increasing this inhibitory activity, progesterone calms neural excitability and makes seizure less likely to occur. Some of these protective effects are mediated by neurosteroids, which are hormone-derived chemicals that modulate how neurons communicate and regulate excitability in the brain. The balance between estrogen and progesterone is critical. During times when estrogen dominates, such as just before menstruation, seizures can become more frequent. However, during periods of higher progesterone, such as certain phases of menstrual cycle or during pregnancy, seizure activity may be reduced. Epilepsy is a major public health issue worldwide. It affects around 50 million people, and nearly 80% of people with epilepsy, they live in low and middle income countries where access to healthcare diagnosis and treatment can be limited. Focusing on women, about half of those living with epilepsy are of reproductive age between 15 and 49 years. This is an important group because epilepsy intersects with hormonal changes, reproductive health, and pregnancy considerations, which we will discuss further. Epilepsy also associated with serious health risk. The risk of premature death in people with epilepsy can be up to 3 times higher than in the general population, often due to uncontrolled seizures, injuries, or comorbidities. Beyond the medical challenges, there are significant social impacts. In many parts of the world, people with epilepsy and their families, they face stigma, discrimination, and social exclusion, which can affect education, employment, and overall quality of life. So these numbers highlight that epilepsy is not just a neurological condition, it has medical, social, and public health implications, and understanding this global burden is essential for providing effective care. There are still many myths and misconceptions about epilepsy that can create fear and stigma. Some common myths include ideas like you can't work, or you can't work, you cannot walk. If you have epilepsy, it is dangerous to be around someone having a seizure. These are not true and can lead to unnecessary fear or isolation. The facts are very different. People with epilepsy can succeed at work, they can go to school and lead fulfilling lives, especially when they have the right support and treatment. Comforting them that you are not alone, and healthcare providers, families, and communities can help provide the support needed to manage epilepsy safely. It is important to separate the facts from myth so we can reduce stigma and ensure that people living with epilepsy are empowered rather than limited by misconceptions. Epilepsy in women is more than just a neurological condition. It affects health, daily life, and social well-being and requires careful attention at every stage of life. Clinically, there are several key considerations. Unintended pregnancies are surprisingly common, with over 65% of pregnancies in women with epilepsy being unplanned. This is important because epilepsy and anti-seizure medications can affect pregnancy outcomes, so preconception planning and counseling are crucial. Hormones and anti-seizure medications also interact in both directions. Changes in hormones, for example, during the menstrual cycle or pregnancy, can influence seizure control, while some medications can affect hormonal levels, fertility, or the effectiveness of contraception. This makes individualized care more essential. Taking a lifespan perspective is also vital. Women need change over time, from puberty through the reproductive years and later through menopause. Managing epilepsy safely while also considering fetal outcomes. Long-term health and quality of life requires a thoughtful planning and ongoing monitoring. Beyond the clinical aspects, epilepsy has significant social and economic consequences. Healthcare costs can be high, and seizures may limit productivity or employment opportunities. Families may experience financial strain, and educational or career prospects can be affected. On top of this, stigma and discrimination continue to impact the lives of women with epilepsy, creating barriers to participation in society and sometimes even limiting access to the care. Now we'll discuss about catamenial epilepsy. Catamenial epilepsy is a type of epilepsy that occurs in women and is closely linked to their menstrual cycle. In this form of epilepsy, seizure frequency can increase at specific times during the cycle, often related to changes in hormonal levels. There are two main periods when seizures are more likely to occur. The first is around the start of menstruation, when estrogen levels drop sharply, which can make neurons more excitable and increase risk of seizures. The second is around ovulation, which usually happen about 14 days before the next period, when there is a peak in estrogen. For example, a woman with catamenial epilepsy might notice that her seizures are more frequent in the 3 days just before her period begins. Another woman might find that she experiences seizures around the middle of her cycle, near ovulation, even if her seizures are well controlled at other times. Recognizing catamenial patterns is important because it can help healthcare provider adjust the treatment, such as the timing of medications, to reduce seizure risk during these vulnerable phases. It also allows women to plan their daily activities, anticipate higher risk periods, and feel more in control of their conditions. When it comes to birth control and epilepsy, it is important to understand that some anti-seizure medications can reduce the effectiveness of hormonal contraceptives. At the same time, certain hormonal contraceptives can also affect how well some anti-seizure medications work. This is particularly true for enzyme-inducing anti-seizure medications such as phenytoin or phenobarbital and carbamazepine, which can interfere with hormonal birth control, making it less effective and increasing the risk of unplanned pregnancy. Fortunately, not all contraception methods are affected by anti-seizure medications. Methods remain reliable include barrier methods such as condoms, intrauterine devices, and contraceptive injections. These options provide effective contraception without being influenced by anti-seizure medications. It is important for healthcare providers and women with epilepsy to discuss contraception carefully, considering both seizure control and reproductive health, so that women can choose methods that are safe, effective, and suited to their individual needs. When planning a pregnancy, there are several important considerations for women with epilepsy to ensure both maternal and fetal safety. Some anti-seizure medication, particularly valproic acid, can increase the risk of major congenital malformation. So it is important for anyone taking this medication to discuss the risks and benefits with their neurologist or epileptologist. Ideally, women with epilepsy should work closely with their healthcare provider to achieve seizure freedom before becoming pregnant. Simplifying medication regimens is also recommended, aiming for monotherapy, which means managing seizure with a single medication at the lowest effective dose. Another important step is the use of folic acid. Starting several months before contraception is very important, and this can help to reduce the risk of neural tube defects. During pregnancy, anti-seizure medication levels should be monitored more frequently in each trimester, as hormone changes can affect how medications are metabolized. Close monitoring for complications throughout pregnancy is also essential. Lifestyle factors are important as well. For example, quitting smoking before pregnancy is strongly advised to reduce risk to both mother and baby. Finally, for most women with epilepsy, breastfeeding is safe and recommended, even while taking anti-seizure medications, though it is always important to discuss this with your healthcare provider. By following these strategies, women with epilepsy can maximize safety, minimize seizure risk, and support healthy outcomes for themselves and their babies. Maintaining seizure control during pregnancy is critical for both maternal and fetal safety. It is important that women do not stop anti-seizure medication abruptly, as this can trigger severe seizures which may put both the mother and the baby at serious risk. Certain type of seizure, particularly tonic-clonic seizures, carry significant risk. For the fetus, uncontrolled seizures can cause fetal hypoxia or bradycardia, while the mother may experience trauma from falls, injuries, or other complications. This is also a small but real risk of sudden unexpected death in epilepsy, especially when seizures are uncontrolled. To minimize these risks, the main goal of monitoring and care during pregnancy includes maintaining therapeutic levels of anti-seizure medications, coordinating frequent neurology follow-ups, and planning for safety measures to reduce the risk of falls and injuries. This also involves identifying and managing seizure triggers whenever possible. By carefully balancing seizure control with maternal fetal safety, women with epilepsy can have healthier pregnancies and reduce complications for both themselves and their babies. Pregnancy in women with epilepsy can be associated with an increased risk of neonatal complications, particularly related to anti-seizure medications and seizure controls. The incidence of major congenital malformation is higher compared to general population. Some of the specific complications observed include cleft lip and palate, cardiac abnormalities, and limb defects. Other risks for the baby include intrauterine growth restriction, which means the baby may grow more slowly in the womb, and oligohydramnios, a condition characterized by low amniotic fluid. There is also a slightly higher risk of stillbirth in some cases. It is important to note that while these risks are increased, most pregnancies in women with epilepsy result in healthy babies, especially when seizure control is maintained, medications are carefully managed, and prenatal care is closely monitored. Understanding these risks help healthcare providers plan pregnancies more safely, monitor fetal development, and take preventive measures to improve outcome for both mother and baby. After delivery, women with epilepsy, they face unique challenges related to seizure control, breastfeeding, and fatigue. For most women, breastfeeding is encouraged and considered safe even while taking anti-seizure medications. Some medications are particularly well studied in breastfeeding. For example, lamotrigine is generally safe, but it is important to monitor the infant for rash or signs of sedation. Levetiracetam is also considered safe, though infants should be observed for sedation as well. The postpartum period can also increase seizure risk due to sleep deprivation, fatigue, and occasionally missed medication doses. Because of this, it is important to have a safety plan in place. Simple precautions can make a big difference. Avoid unsupervised bathing, carry the infant low to the ground if there is a risk of falls, and ensure someone is nearby to help when possible. By combining careful monitoring, safe breastfeeding practices, and planning for postpartum fatigue, women with epilepsy can manage seizures effectively while caring for their newborn safely. Menopause brings important considerations for women with epilepsy, particularly for those who experience catamenial epilepsy. During perimenopause, some women may notice a slight increase in seizure frequency, likely due to hormonal fluctuations. Interestingly, after menopause, seizure frequency often improves for many women. It is also important to consider bone health. Some anti-seizure medications can increase the risk of bone fractures and osteoporosis. Women with epilepsy may benefit from bone density screening and taking daily vitamin D and calcium supplements to help maintain strong bones. Hormone replacement therapy is another consideration. Most hormone replacement preparations contain low levels of estrogen, which usually do not increase seizure activity. However, in some cases, hormone replacement therapy may worsen seizures and treatment adjustments may be necessary. Therefore, careful management during menopause, including monitoring seizure patterns, supporting bone health, and reviewing hormone replacement therapy use can help women with epilepsy maintain their health and quality of life during this stage of life. Hormone therapies used in gender-affirming care can have important interactions with anti-seizure medications. So it is important to approach care thoughtfully. For example, estrogen treatment may increase seizure activity in some individuals, On the other hand, testosterone therapy, commonly used by trans men or non-binary individuals, can interact with enzyme-inducing anti-seizure medications, which may require careful monitoring and adjustment of dosing in consultation with an endocrinologist. People with prior catamenial epilepsy may notice changes in seizure patterns when menstruation stops as a result of hormone therapy. Additionally, it is important to be aware that herbal supplements or non-medical treatments can sometimes reduce the effectiveness of anti-seizure medications, increasing the risk of breakthrough seizures. In this slide, we will discuss some practical guidance for healthcare providers supporting women and people of childbearing age living with epilepsy. A key aspect of care is offering early preconception counseling, which includes discussing pregnancy intentions, reviewing seizure history, and ensuring that medications are optimized before conception. It is also essential to carefully review anti-seizure medications, particularly for potential teratogenic risk and possible interactions with hormonal contraceptives, as these can directly affect both maternal and fetal outcomes. Providers should also be aware that hormonal changes across the lifespan, including menstruation, pregnancy, postpartum, and menopause, can influence seizure patterns and symptom severity. Because epilepsy care is multifaceted, interdisciplinary collaboration is critical. This includes working closely with neurology, obstetric and gynecology, primary care, and mental health professionals to provide comprehensive support. Equally important is shared decision-making, ensuring that patients are actively involved in balancing seizure control with reproductive goals and safety considerations. Discussions should also include folic acid supplementation, contraception options, and fertility concerns, as these are central to reproductive health planning. Routine screening for anxiety, depression, sleep disturbances, and psychosocial stressors is essential given the high burden of mental health challenges in this population. Finally, care should be culturally sensitive and responsive across the reproductive lifespan, recognizing the diverse needs, values, and lived experiences of women and people of childbearing age with epilepsy. Living with epilepsy can affect not only physical health, but also mental and emotional well-being. Supporting women with epilepsy require a holistic lifespan approach that integrates neurological care with hormonal, reproductive, and mental health needs. Awareness and education are the first steps. By providing clear, accurate information about epilepsy, reproductive health, and mental well-being, we can empower women to make informed decisions and feel more in control of their health. Reducing stigma is equally important. Open conversation helps challenge misconception and create an environment where women feel understood and respected. Emotional support is essential. Women benefit from spaces where they can share their experiences safely, whether through peer support groups or family support, helping them feel connected and supported. Practical strategies such as relaxation exercises, cognitive behavioral therapy, and supportive counseling can also help manage stress, anxiety, and mood changes associated with epilepsy and hormonal fluctuations. Encouraging positive communication and building confidence enable women to advocate for their own health needs effectively, both within healthcare settings and in their communities. And finally, promoting community acceptance, ensuring that women with epilepsy are included, they are respected and supported in all aspects of life. Of all these efforts are most effective when paired with access to reproductive and mental health services that are approachable, non-judgmental, and tailored to the unique needs of women with epilepsy. By taking a holistic approach that addresses neurological, reproductive, and mental health across the lifespan, we can help women with epilepsy live healthier, empowered, and fulfilling lives. So the important message is that epilepsy care for women is not only about controlling the seizures, it is about supporting health, dignity, and well-being at every stages of life. These are the references which I have used in this presentation, and thank you so much for listening.